So this is it. We now have answers regarding Social Security, Medicare, SNAP benefits, and so much more. Now, I've been getting a bunch of emails just this morning from people that are worried about Social Security, Medicare, SNAP benefits, and all social spending that our current government is doing. Now, here is one of the things that most of these emails have said, is that Republicans are going to vote against the debt ceiling increase. Now, I've read a handful of articles over the past month, and they've all said the same thing, that Republicans will not vote for a debt ceiling increase unless there's cuts to Social Security and Medicare. However, over the past 2 weeks, we have seen that statement change. Democrats are still pointing to the fact that Republicans said this, okay? I'm not trying to come to the aid of Republicans, and I'm not trying to bash Democrats here, but Republicans initially stated that they are going to make cuts to Social Security and Medicare, and there's nothing that anybody could do to change their mind. However, things have changed. I want to be very clear on what's happening. This coming Wednesday, okay, that is Wednesday, what's today, the 30th, so Wednesday the 1st, it will be February 1st. What we are going to see is Speaker Kevin McCarthy is going to have a meeting with President Joe Biden. Their plan is to discuss the path moving forward on a possible debt ceiling increase because we need it. We have to have an increase. Chances are, and there's still some discussions here, that we are going to see the debt limit get suspended. But what Republicans want is not to suspend the debt ceiling, okay, to suspend that limit, but to raise the ceiling in exchange for spending cuts. They've been very clear on this over the past couple of weeks. Now, what I want to say though is as to what are they going to cut, we just don't know. We've heard things like Social Security and Medicare are going to get cuts, but that was pretty much in 2022. So far in 2023, we've heard more statements saying that no, they will not cut this. We've also heard that there's going to be cuts to SNAP benefits. There are going to be cuts to SNAP benefits. However, this is expected. This isn't anything new. We are going to see once the public health emergency ends, we are going to see SNAP benefits go from the maximum amount back down to your normal allotment. This is going to save, billions of dollars. But the real cuts will likely come from two different sources. One is military spending. The second is the IRS. I want to be very clear on this. We are likely not going to pass any new bills that's going to send money to Ukraine. And after even billionaire Bill Gates came out and just bashed Ukraine, saying that Ukraine has been corrupt for years, and yet we still send them money? Well, this is just opening up the eyes to millions and millions of Americans. So military spending is one place that we could save money. The second is the IRS. Now, reports recently have said that there are multiple flaws in providing the IRS with $80 billion. And because of that, that's where they're going to try to claw back that money. Republicans are going to target the IRS and their $80 billion because we know the IRS is planning to target low-income earners. We know this. This is something that we have seen before, and it's going to come again. As a result, the biggest cut that we're likely to see is going to be military spending and the IRS. Now, based on statements from the Treasury at the end of 2022, there's still billions and billions of dollars in unspent pandemic funding that Congress could actually use, redistribute if they wanted to. But they haven't done it. So here's what was said this morning. We heard, and this is coming from people in the Senate. They say, and this is coming from a letter that was sent to the White House by 24 Senate Republicans. They say, and I quote, "We, the undersigned members of the Senate Republican Conference, write to express our outright opposition to a debt ceiling hike without real structural spending reform that reduces deficit spending and brings fiscal sanity back to Washington." They also went on to address the Prevent Government Shutdowns Act. Now, in this Prevent Government Shutdowns Act, this would automatically provide continuing support, continuing appropriations to fund the government if Congress were to fail to pass a spending bill, right? Especially by the end of the year. Now, they also addressed the Full Faith and Credit Act. Now, the Full Faith and Credit Act, this would prioritize federal payments in case Congress can't or won't raise the debt limit as meaningful structural reform. That's what they're trying to do, trying to have a meaningful structural reform. Now, they also went on to say this, and I quote, "We do not intend to vote for a debt ceiling increase without structural reforms to address current and future fiscal realities," one of which is Social Security. Actually enforce the budget and spending rules on the books and manage out of control government policies. That's what they wrote. Now, I do want to be very clear on one thing. This letter was not signed by Senate Minority Leader Mitch McConnell, but according to reports this morning, this letter kind of indicates that it's giving the support, to Speaker Kevin McCarthy, that his effort to negotiate with President Biden, they will back that as long as there's fiscal reform. That's what we're hearing. So, for all those people that came out this morning and said, this is it, we're done, Social Security is no more, Medicare is done, SNAP benefits will get reduced, we're going to see nothing, right? All this social spending, affordable housing, utilities, internet, whatever. All those people that said, this is it, the 24 Republicans, they say, we're not going to vote on this. Well, that's great. Okay, that's 24 people, but you got to keep in mind that Democrats, they have 51 people currently in the Senate. Okay, 51. But they only need 9 additional votes. They need 9 Republicans to vote with them to pass a bill. So, if we see something pass through the House, and there's a handful of Republicans that support it, which my guess is there will be. If we see something pass through the House and it heads to the Senate, Majority Leader Chuck Schumer will put this on the floor. If he does, we are going to see 9 Republicans vote for the bill as well. Why? Because nobody wants to be on record to vote against it. Nobody wants to do that. So if you have anybody in the background that hasn't said a word, chances are they are not going to vote no to a bill that could actually keep us from defaulting on our debts. Nobody's going to do that. So if they haven't publicly came out, they're probably not going to say anything. All right? So I just wanted to fill you in on that because I got a handful of emails and comments here on this channel all saying the same thing, that we're pretty much screwed, that Republicans are going to end it for everybody. It's not necessarily the truth. Okay. Yes, there are some that are still going to vote against any increase, no matter what. But there are some that will vote against an increase as long as there's not some type of reform attached to it. And there's others that will never vote to do anything. They pretty much just want to see something fail. So we're going to see what happens moving forward, but just understand, as of right now, Social Security, Medicare, SNAP benefits, affordable housing, utility payments, all these extra benefits that we have seen, as American citizens, guess what? They're not going away just yet. All right. So as soon as I get more information, I promise I will fill you in on all the latest news and updates.